Alright, what up guys? This is gonna be my first moto vlog ever. It's pretty much a test vlog, but hopefully everything is good. Could take a look at the bike. Go a little overview. It's the Hawk 250 carbureted version. I got the Pro Taper grips. Got to upgrade it to the digital dash. I got my phone mount on there. I've got the performance racing exhaust. We got the racing carburetor, the Nibby 28. Got the Shinko 705 tires on the front and the back. Got a replacement shock in there. That's pretty much it. It's fully registered, titled, and covered in pollen because this whole area has been hit with a pollen wave recently. And it has made things very disgusting. Very, very disgusting. All right, turn the fuel on. Let's listen to this bitch turn up. Oh, okay. So every now and then I have to turn up the idle a tiny bit to get it going. I think I might have to clean out the petcock on my gas tank because it just needs to get the fuel going, and then it's more than good enough. All right, I don't know if you guys can tell how much pollen is on everything, but I cleared it off my seat, but my mirrors are just disastrous, man. Just disastrous. Hear that? You're sounding good. Alright. Sounds nice and warm. That was a totally cold start, so every now and then on the totally cold starts, I just gotta turn up the RPM a tiny bit and then back it off when it gets warmed up. Alright, let's go for a ride. One time I forgot the kickstand down, and I'm always worried about doing that again and flipping off the bike. It's the last thing you want to do. So, if you guys saw the first video I did, where it was just me riding the bike around, that thing was completely bone stock. It was right after I built it. I just wanted to get like a idea of how it sounded. But this was with the like semi MotoVlog setup. Right now it's on my phone and an external microphone in my helmet. Eventually I'll get a GoPro, but we'll see how this does for now. I don't even know how the angle is, so hopefully the angle's not messed up. Probably come up a little bit higher. It's hard to tell, honestly. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention when I was going through the overview of the bike is I also changed the gearing. Got a 17 tooth sprocket in the front, 45 tooth sprocket in the back, and it's made it way more drivable. I have use of almost all my gears, essentially. First, I can get all the way up into 20 miles per hour if I really hammer it, but you really don't want to do that. It sounds terrible, honestly, redlining at first. Sounds like somebody really pissed off a lawnmower. I don't know why I always choose to join on this street, on the main road, because I can't see shit in that direction. To the right, so that's not ideal. Alright, let's go for a little ride through Tuisit. So I've been really enjoying this bike. I got my permit like 3 weeks ago. I did the motorcycle safety course. I was kind of nervous going into the motorcycle safety course. I had to reschedule it because the first time I went in there, I didn't bring the right footwear. I had just like regular sneakers because I completely forgot, even though I said to bring boots. So I had to reschedule it, and then I got the bike. It was actually delivered at that point before my first motorcycle lessons. So I learned how to ride the bike a little bit in my neighborhood before that. and then we moved on from there. And I was super confident when it came to actually getting on the bike out there, because the tests they give you are really not that difficult, and it's all things that you should kind of know from riding a regular bicycle, because it's mostly like low speed maneuvers. There's 1 or 2 sections where you have to go over like 30 miles an hour, but even that's just like in a straightaway and then you brake. So I feel like anybody who spent a fair amount of time on a bicycle have no problem. So if anybody's wondering if they'll be able to pass their motorcycle license class, you definitely can. The only people that didn't pass had like no idea how to do anything beforehand, so they had zero preparation. So if you're the type of person who's literally never ridden a bike before or have no idea how any of it works, it might be a little bit of a struggle at first, but honestly, you watch some YouTube videos, figure it out before you even get in there. The idea is pretty simple. My only experience ever driving anything with a clutch was in sim racing, in sim drifting, so I had no experience with that, but I was able to teach myself in like 5 minutes. First time I drove this motorcycle was the second time I've ever driven a motorcycle in my life. The first time I driven a motorcycle was about 6 or 7 years ago, something like that, and I hopped on my buddy's bike and he taught me how to roll off, but he didn't teach me how to stop. I didn't know you had to pull in the clutch or the bike would stall out, so I just like pulled the brakes to stop and it stalled out on me, and then I didn't know how to turn it back on, because on his bike you had to like hold in the clutch to turn it back on. Yeah, this bike is it's got to the point where I'm very confident in it in terms of my own abilities. Not really super confident at doing a lot of stuff, but I'm confident with the bike that's underneath me, if that makes sense. Because that was one of my worries getting an Amazon bike, is that I was never going to feel confident on it, like that it's going to break apart at any point. But I've joined some good communities on Facebook that are dedicated to this. I know Facebook, right? I literally only started using Facebook again to get into motorcycle communities because they seem to be all over there. And I've learned a lot. There's a lot of really, really helpful people, and I've done everything that you've seen on this bike myself except for the tires. The tires, I got a motorcycle shop to do because I did not want to deal with that headache. Every video I've seen of somebody changing their tires looks like they're struggling. Looks like a battle, and those are people that are teaching you how to do it. So pay a little extra money. Came out to like $100. I got some new tires put in, but man, does it make a huge difference. The stock knobbies were just like felt squirrely, and any line in the ground, you see how there's like a lot of cracks in the ground? Anything like that, Jesus Christ, the knobbies would suck into it. It was very weird. Right now I'm getting about 140 miles per gas tank. I'm honestly not 100% sure how big the gas tank is, but I think it's about 2 gallons. But I'm not honestly sure, but I'm happy with that. That works for me. I already got 528 miles on this dash. And on the original Hawkometer, which has its own measurement of counting that nobody's been able to figure out, so they just call it Hawkometers, I had 88 on that one. So God damn it. Those are my least favorite moments in a motorcycle, is when people are like unsure of what they want to do. They're stepping on their brake going forward. They don't know if they want to let the person ahead of them go or not. It's tough to decide what to do in the moment, because I kind of want to keep the flow up and continue to roll forward and then go. But you really have to wait until you know exactly what you can do and be way more deliberate. That's what I've noticed switching from driving my car all the time to driving the motorcycle, is you have to be way more deliberate in what you do, and you have to know that what you're about to do, you have to commit to, and you can't exactly get away from it immediately. Like, sure, there's a lot of ways to escape certain situations, and you gotta be prepared to do that, and you gotta know how to do that, and it takes time to build up that skill. But typically you want to keep yourself out of those situations by anticipating things ahead of you and being as safe as possible. So when I see major intersections and I'm cruising along and I don't see anybody at all, a lot of the times I'll still slow down just because I want to be prepared. If anything were to happen, then I can get on the brakes and I'm prepared. I'm not just hammering the throttle and have to let go of the throttle and then slam on the brakes. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions of mods I should do for this, let me know. But I'm very happy with the way it is right now. I might get some new mirrors, to be honest, but that's about it. Who's going? Sometimes people are too nice, so everybody lets you go, and it gets like that situation we were just in right there. The lady on my left should have went, and then the guy across from me should have went after her. But since she was first, she was trying to let me go, which was dictating what was happening on the other side, because he was trying to let her go, and then he goes next because he had the right to go second. But then she superseded everything and told me to go first, which, you know, probably not the best idea. It's one of the examples of being too nice while driving, and I feel like we have a lot of that around here. We also have a lot of road raging and people being upset while driving, but honestly, everybody's always trying to let each other go. They're very timid and very patient. Somebody will wait there at a green light to try to let you turn in until it goes red. Working on my shifting. This bike kind of shifts hard. There's a lot of thump to it. That makes sense. But I got Lucas oil wet clutch oil in there, so it should be good. I've oil changed it like 4 times already in the maybe 600 miles. Just trying to really treat it well in the braking period. Maybe I didn't oil change it that many times, but I've oil changed it a few times. See, now I have a usable 4th gear. Before I geared this thing up to where it is now, 4th gear was not usable. Third and 4th were just non-existent until you got to 35, and then everything was after 35. Now I can fully use 3, 4, and 5. Second is still kind of useless, to be honest. It's like such a weird in-between. It's mostly for when I'm like rolling to a stop and I don't expect to have to actually fully stop. Then I'll just keep it in second and go from there. But if I have to fully stop, then I always go to first. I didn't do that as smooth as I could have. A little bit of a top speed run. The end is uphill, so let's see how good it goes. I don't know if that's a cop, so I don't want to keep speeding. Pretty sure we got up to 60 there. The highest I've gotten is 67 on a slight downhill on the highway. I'm sure I could get it a little bit faster if I geared it down more. Put like a 42 sprocket in the back. But out of a carbureted Amazon bike that I bought for well under $2,000, brand new and assembled out of a box, I'm very happy.